Hey, what's up everybody? We are back today with the Blood and Wine DLC, tracking down all of the new Gwent cards available for the Skellige deck that was added to the game with this latest DLC. Now, in order to get started here, you want to follow Milton around at the beginning of the DLC until he takes you to the Cockatrice Inn. Just outside the Cockatrice Inn, you're going to find a notice board. On the notice board, you will find a notice that is for the Great Beauclair Gwent Tournament. Go ahead and grab that.
Invitation to
home
Gwent
for
tournament
traders,
due to
smugglers,
take place at the
boatmen.
Pheasantry.
But you will find no better crayfish chowder in all Toussaint.
And a crayfish chowder. Shut the fuck up. Alright, so it says, the Great Beauclair Gwent Tournament, it's Count Monier's supreme delight to announce a Gwent tournament of his organization. Those wishing to take part should register at the Pheasantry. Please note this tournament features a new faction developed by Count Monier himself. Let the games begin. It's time! Alright, so let's go ahead and back out of here. You're going to get a new quest.
Organized by a certain
At some
Count
point,
Monier.
it will eventually pop up. There it is. Gwent to everything. Turn, turn, tournament. Alright, so let's go ahead and track that quest. Secondary quests, Gwent. So it says meet with the tournament's organizer. Here's a tip. Go meet with the organizer right away because he's going to give you the basic Skellige Gwent deck. So that way you can start building out the deck, and if you want to train a little bit with it, play around with it before the Gwent tournament, you can do that. So I highly suggest you go get that first. If you are here at this video looking for specific Gwent cards, you've probably already fast-forwarded, skipped through, and completely missed this, but just in case you haven't, look at the video description. There are links in the video description for sections of the video for each one of the individual new Gwent cards. So if you're looking for a specific one, you can just check the video description, click on the link, and it'll take you right to that section of the video. I felt that would probably be helpful just to navigate through here. So that's it. Let the games begin, and we're going to head out and talk to the tournament's organizer, Count Monier, in just a moment. Alright, so we followed the quest icon all the way down to Beauclair to the Pheasantry, and we are now upstairs and about to talk to Count Monier. If you get out here and the quest icon is gray, it means that he's not on the same level as you are. You actually need to come up to the rooftop here. There are some stairs around the side of the building that lead up here, and he can talk with Count Monier. Now, we're going to skip through a bunch of this conversation because I just want to show you that you do get the basic deck here, and I'll let you have the conversations on your own.
I assure you.
Geralt,
Now, in order to get through this, you are going to have to interact with both of these options
these
Dead.
and the
Yeah.
before you get the option to start the or to join the tournament, but not start it yet.
new
Oh, the
All right, so I want to
the
sign up.
tournament.
we are. Behold.
He'll take you over here, show the tournament trophy to you. You're gonna say deal. I'll play using the Skellige deck,
Oh,
That.
no chance.
and you can see new item received Skellige. If you pop out to your Gwent deck and check, you should now have a new faction deck called Skellige. It's got a bunch of cards in there, so feel free to check those out at your leisure. You do have one leader card. There are 2 leader cards to be obtained here as well. So that is it for checking this one out. Before you go, we're going to start with, you can see that there's a quest on the screen now that you've been given called Never Fear, Skellige's Here. This quest is given to you the first time you pick up any Skellige card, so it's not just from talking to him. If you went and played a barkeep somewhere and they gave you a Skellige card, you will have already gotten that quest. But if we go in and look at the quests, I'll explain a few things. 1. For Gwent Never Fear, Skellige's Here. It's telling you there are 19 cards to collect. So there's 19 different people you have to play in order to pick these cards up. You cannot buy them like you have with previous decks. You got to play in order to win them. That's one thing. 2, if you come up here and you see that this says your current deck strength is 0 of 24, that doesn't mean that you're looking to pick up 24 cards. It's a strength of your deck, kind of like the strength of the deck was kind of implicit when you played in the previous Gwent tournament from the original version of the game. Once you reach full strength of the deck, these wonderful map markers that are on the world map will go away. I'll point that out again a little bit later in the video, but just FYI. before I let you go and we get into collecting these, I highly recommend that the first one you collect is the one right here. The reason being is if you don't collect it now, you can easily get locked out of this area later on to the point where you can't get it until you complete the tournament. So just FYI, come here and get this one right now, and that's the one we're going to start with in just a moment. Alright, the first card we're going to pick up for our Skellige deck is going to be from the Pheasantry, where we just were, and we picked up our basic deck from Count Monnier. Right behind him, you head in the door, and you get inside here and find an innkeeper. She's kind of obscured by all this fucking hand fiber that's on the screen right now, but trust me, she's inside the inn that is right at this location. Once you get inside her and play her and beat her in a game of Gwent, she is going to give you the Dandelion equivalent, but for the siege line. So if we pop into our Skellige deck here, and scroll down here, it is Draig Bon-Dhu or Fondue or something like that. There he is. Draig Bon-Dhu. So if we check him out, it looks like doubles the strength of all unit cards in that row, and that row being the siege line. So that's what he does. Now remember, if you didn't watch the first part of the video, this one is a card you want to get right away. You do not want to wait till the end to pick this card up. If you do, you will hit yourself because you're going to get locked out of this inn as soon as you get a deck strong enough to start the tournament. So just FYI, I've given you the caveat, so don't bitch if you get locked out. So that's it for this one. We are on to the next one in just a moment. Alright, our first opponent is up at the Castel Ravello Vineyard, all the way at the northern edge of the map here. You're going to find an herbalist up here, and if you play her in a game of Gwent, she is going to reward you with the Clan Brokvar Archer. So if we head into our Skellige deck, go to the ranged cards, scroll down here, we picked up the Clan Brokvar Archer, which gave us 3 because you do get 2 with the basic deck. So that's it for the reward for playing her. We're on to the next one in just a moment. Alright, our next opponent is the innkeeper at the Cockatrice Inn. You've already been to the Cockatrice Inn. This is where Milton led you early on in the DLC. If you come in here and play the innkeeper, he will reward you with another one of the Tight Bond Shield Maidens. So if we go out to our Gwent deck, check that out, and go over to the close combat cards and scroll all the way down here, you will have picked up a second Clan Drummond Shield Maiden once you beat him in a game of Gwent. So we are on to the next one in just a moment. Alright, our next opponent is the innkeeper located out in Flovive. Now she is located just south of the signpost here. Inside the inn, once you go in and play her and beat her in a game of Gwent, she will reward you with a hero card for your Skellige deck. We pop over here to the Skellige deck and check this out. You'll see we got Cerys. She is right here. So Cerys is a muster card. If we click on her and examine her, let her check you out there. So she will summon all the Shield Maidens from your deck and your hand. So this is a muster card that ties in with all the Shield Maidens that you'll be picking up. You should already have one from your basic deck. We picked up one in the previous section of this video, and we'll pick up another one here in a little bit. But that's it for this one. We're on to the next one in just a moment. Alright, our next opponent is an innkeeper located out here, just south of the main city here. I won't even attempt to pronounce that name because I'm sure it's got some fucking silent letters in it that I'm going to fuck up. So let's just say it's an innkeeper that's here in Franfarts. And once you play the innkeeper, she is going to give you a special card that is a hero card, and it is Ermion. So if we go into our Gwent deck and check out our Skellige cards, scroll down here, you'll see we picked up Ermion, and if we inspect him, you'll see he has the special ability on him that will trigger all the transformation for your Berserker cards that you for the row that you put him on. So it turns them all into the bears that they wind up turning into. So that's it for playing her. We're on to the next one in just a moment. Alright, our next opponent still out here in Franfarts is going to be the Armorer, located just east of the signpost. Once you get down here and play the Armorer and beat him, he will award you with your 3rd Clan Drummond Shield Maiden. So if we pop in here and check that out, you will see that we now have 3 of them. 1, 2, 3, and once again, these are tied in with Cerys, which we picked up a little bit early on in the video. So summon all Shield Maidens from your deck and hand. So she's got the muster ability, they've got the tight bond ability, and that's how they work together. So that's it for this one. We're on to the next one in just a moment. Alright, our next opponent can be found out in the tourney grounds and is the Barber. And I have to take a small break here and digress just a bit. So, as a content creator, when you're making videos, nothing sucks worse than to be interrupted in the middle of a video. Whether it's something happens in the house, or somebody's yelling, or God knows what, where you have to fucking start all over. But there is nothing worse than getting interrupted in the middle of making a video when the fucking sheriff's department shows up your house looking for somebody because a busybody mistook you screwing around in a car for you assaulting someone, and they're here to investigate to make sure no one has died or something like that. There are way too many people in this fucking world that have way too much time on their hands, and they honestly need to mind their own fucking business, because that type of shit is a waste of time for the sheriff's department and a waste of time in general. Fucking people need to mind their own goddamn business. It's like when people see others spank their kids in public. Like, mind your own fucking business. I got beat the shit out of when I was a kid by my dad, and I turned out perfect, so leave it alone. I don't know. Sorry. I'm just a little pissed off at the moment, and I had to digress. But people, fuck. Get a job, mind your own business, find something productive to do with your time other than worrying about other people. Anyways, so, tourney grounds, Barber, first opponent. Once you beat him, you are going to get a new special card. This special card is a new type of weather card that you're going to be able to play with any of your decks, not just the Skellige deck. So if we go over here and look in like the monster deck, you can see we picked up this Skellige Storm card. It says reduces the strength of all range and siege units to 1. So this will cover both the ranged and siege lines on the board. It's kind of a combination of your Torrential Rain and Impenetrable Fog cards, but it is just one card that does both abilities that you find on those other cards. So that's nice. You got a new weather card that can be played in any deck, not just the Skellige deck. So that's it for this one. We're on to the next one in just a moment. Alright, so still out in the tourney grounds, our next opponent is the Innkeeper that is out here. So she is just west of the Barber that we just played. Once you play her, you are going to get a War Longship. So if we go out to our deck, go to our Skellige deck, and go to the, I believe, Siege cards, we picked up our 3rd War Longship. So 2 of them, I believe, come with the basic deck. This is the one that you get from playing people. And if you have been following along exactly with the guide here, and you probably just now had a what the fuck moment. If not, based on how many cards you've accumulated, you may have had the what the fuck moment at some other time in the game. But if you go out and pop out to your world map, even though you are still on the quest, Gwent to everything, turn, 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 you can notice that there are no more markers on the map for people to play. So where the fuck are you supposed to get the rest of your Gwent cards from? There's still probably, I think we still have 12 to collect, something like that. Don't worry, I've marked them all down, so we will continue on our quest to collect all 19 of the available cards in the game, and then we'll go jump into the tournament. So we'll be back and continue our journey in just a moment. Alright, still out in the tourney grounds, our next stop is at a blacksmith you will find right here. Play this blacksmith and beat him, and he will give you 1 additional young Berserker card. So we'll pop into our deck, go to the Skellige deck, and I believe it's a close combat card, and it's low value. I think it's a 2. No? let's go to ranged. There we go. So it gives you your second Young Berserker card. The first one came with the basic deck that you were given by Count Monnier. Now you have two. That's it for this one. We're on to the next one in just a moment. Alright, still out at the tourney grounds, our last person that we're going to be able to play a game of Gwent with and get a card from is going to be the Armorer. The Armorer is just around the corner from the Blacksmith. Come up here, chat him up, play him in a game of Gwent, and he will reward you with another Skellige Storm card. So, once again, if you don't remember, the Skellige Storm card is a special card. It's weather, so it's technically neutral by default, which means it can be played in any one of your decks. It doesn't just have to be the Skellige deck. So that's it for this one. We are on to the next one in just a moment. Alright, our next destination is the city of Beauclair, and just east of the San Sebastian signpost and north of Beauclair Port, you're going to find the Bells of Beauclair. It's a whorehouse. I mean, I don't know what else you want to call it. But the innkeep inside, the madam, she's going to play you in a game of Gwent. And once you beat her, you're going to pick up a new Skellige-specific special card. So let's go out to our Skellige deck and check that out. Gwent deck, you'll notice that it is not showing up here on any of the other decks. But if you go to your Skellige deck and scroll down here, you will have this new card here. So you picked up, that's not the card, you picked up one with your basic deck when you got the starter deck for this. However, this is the second one. You can see it triggers the transformation on your Berserker cards, so it turns them into the bears. So that's awesome to have a second one of those, and we will be on to our next location in just a moment. Alright, so still out in Beauclair, just to the east of the San Sebastian signpost and just around the corner from the brothel, which is the Bells of Beauclair, you're going to find a butcher just right down the hill from where they are. And if you play the butcher and beat him in a game of Gwent, he's going to give you your third Skellige Storm card. So we pop out into our Gwent deck and check that out. And you can see here is our Skellige Storm's card, and if you check it out on another deck, you can see that it does appear on all the other decks. It is a generic special weather card. It does not go specifically with the Skellige deck itself, so you can use it for whatever you want. If you haven't seen it before, there are the abilities of it. It just combines the Torrential Rain and Impenetrable Fog cards into one. So, awesome card. Great addition. Nice to have a third one of those. But that's it for this one, and we're on to the next one in just a moment. Alright, our next stop in Beauclair brings us to, for whatever reason, it's not marked on my map. I don't know. There is a merchant in here. It's just not marked. So it's just north and west of the Grand Place, whatever the fuck. Right up here. Alright, so just after you cross the bridge, there's a little house here on the right-hand side of the street that you see me pointing at with my arrow right now. And if you check out the sign in front, it says the Tailor's Workshop. So this is what it looks like out in front, just after you cross through the bridge, right? If you head inside here, there's going to be a dude named Pierre sitting over here on the bench. And if you play Pierre in a game of Gwent, he's going to give you another Young Berserker card. So go to our Gwent deck, check this out. Skellige, and if we are remembering from last time, the Young Berserker was ranged. Yes, so now we have 3 Young Berserker cards. So that's it for this one. We're on to the next one in just a moment. Alright, our next stop out in Beauclair takes us over here west of the Grand Place and over to see Ducal Camerlengo. So once you come in here and play him and beat him in a game of Gwent, you're going to get a great surprise because he is actually going to give you your second leader card for the Skellige deck. So if we pop out into our Skellige deck and check that out, this is King Bran. So we'll do change leaders and go over here and check this out. Units only lose half their strength in bad weather conditions. So that's it for this one. We are on to the next one in just a moment. Alright, our next stop in Beauclair takes us to the alchemy supplies vendor that you're going to find south and west of the Grand Place. Right down here. Once you play him in a game of Gwent, he is going to award you with a light Longship card. So if you go out to our Gwent deck, go over to the Skellige deck, and scroll down here. I don't remember whether that is a ranged card. I know it's not close combat, so let's start with ranged. See if we can track that down. There we go. So this is our third light Longship card. This will be the last one you get in the deck. You can notice it does have the muster ability to it. So that's it for this one. We're on to the next one in just a moment. Alright, our next stop out in Beauclair takes us to an armorer that you're going to find north and just a bit east of the Nilfgaardian Embassy signpost. So all the way up here. Here it is. Sorry, I can't zoom in anymore. Outside of the building looks like this.
Do you prefer to go by Geralt of Rivia or the Butcher
Near
of
this little
Blaviken?
town square thing with this big tree. Blah, blah, blah. So once you get in there and play him, you are going to get a unique card specific to the Skellige deck called Kambi. If you haven't been playing against too many Skellige decks, this is going to be a new one for you. So let's pop out into our Skellige deck here and check it out, and I will show you what it does. So if we scroll down here, it is a 0-point card all the way down to the bottom, right? And we'll check this out. So it says, when this card is removed from the battlefield, it summons a powerful new unit card to take its place. So it summons Hjalmar, which is a 11-point hero card. So the hero cards are the ones that can't be affected by any abilities or anything like that. You can't pull them out of your deck, things along those lines. So that's what this card does. It's an awesome card. It kind of sucks when you see it show up on the board when you're playing against it. But, it awakens Hemdall, not Hjalmar. So, that's it for this one. We are on to the next one in just a moment. Alright, our next stop in Beauclair takes us just east of where we just were to a shopkeeper that is located right here. Okay, this is going to be north and east of the Nilfgaardian Embassy. Sorry, that was a misclick, my bad. So shopkeeper here, here's where we just were with the armor, and here's the Nilfgaardian Embassy, so right up here. Play this guy, and you are going to get a unique card to the deck that you haven't seen yet, known as the Clan Dimun Pirate. Now, this one is unique. That's why I call it unique, because it has a special ability on it, which is pretty awesome for the card. If we scroll down here, it is a ranged card. Actually, let me just filter by ranged. And if we check this out, it is the Clan Dimun Pirate, and you can see that it has a Scorch on it. So, it's not a line-specific Scorch like some of the other cards have line-specific Scorch abilities to them. This is just a straight-up Scorch, just like if you had played the special card Scorch. So that's pretty cool. Definitely like that card as well. So we're on to the next one in just a moment. Alright, our next stop in Beauclair takes us to an herbalist found right down here across the way from where we just were at the shopkeeper. In our last game of Gwent, the herbalist is going to play you in a game of Gwent, and when you beat her, she's going to give you another one of those Skellige special cards that invokes the Berserker ability, transforms the cards with the Berserker ability. Let's pop out to our Gwent deck, check that out. I believe now we should have 3 of these cards, if my math pimp hand is not failing me. Yes, we've got 3 of them. So that's 3 of these now. If you haven't seen them before, that's what it does. So those cards that have the Berserk ability on them, it winds up transforming them into the bears that have like massive amounts of health. So pretty cool ability on that. So that's it for this one. We are on to the next one in just a moment. All right, our final Gwent card that we needed to complete the quest to collect all 19 out here is going to come from this innkeep right here named Sommelier. Now, just come over here from where we just were. I think we were just down here at the herbalist. Pop up here, and you will get into the inn and play him in a game of Gwent, and he's going to give you Olaf. So if we pop into our Gwent deck and go over to Skellige, Olaf is a ranged / close combat 12-point card. You can play in either row. There he is. and he also buffs all the other units in that row. So that's it for collecting all of the 19 Skellige deck cards that you can get out here with the Blood and Wine DLC. If any more cards get added, you know I'll put out videos for those. If any updates happen where we get more cards for the Skellige deck, I'll definitely put out more videos for that as well. So keep an eye on the channel. But if you got anything out of the video or you enjoyed the content, I'd really appreciate a like on the video or a sub on the channel. But as always, thanks for watching. Take care.